The Mitsubishi Outlander is a pile of shit. Mitsubishi makes terrible crossovers.
Under the hood, Jeep offers a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine, which sounds good in theory. In practice, it feels underpowered and sluggish, especially when accelerating or overtaking on highways. The transmission still hesitates, gear changes feel clunky, and the overall ride isn't as smooth or refined as you'd expect from a modern SUV. Add to that the noticeable road noise and vibrations at higher speeds, and the Compass quickly loses its appeal. Inside, Jeep has tried to modernize things with a digital display and touchscreen system, but it's plagued by slow response times and software bugs. Some buyers have even reported system freezes while driving. Not exactly confidence-inspiring. The materials also feel inconsistent. Soft touch panels mix with cheap plastics in a way that doesn't belong in a vehicle at this price point. Where the Compass really disappoints, though, is long-term dependability. Owners have repeatedly reported electrical issues, engine stalling, and frequent visits to the service center. Combine that with high maintenance costs and poor resale value, and the 2026 Jeep Compass becomes one of those SUVs you'll regret buying after the first year. In short, it's a compact SUV that promises adventure but delivers frustration. A reminder that Jeep's badge alone can't save a weak product. Number 8. 2026 Nissan Pathfinder. The 2026 Nissan Pathfinder wants to reclaim its glory days, but despite a sleek exterior and a family-friendly image, it still falls short where it matters most: performance, refinement, and reliability. Nissan has reworked the Pathfinder multiple times in recent years, but the underlying issues remain stubbornly familiar. Under the hood, the Pathfinder uses a 3.5-liter V6 paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission. On paper, it sounds solid, but in real-world driving, it often feels jerky and inconsistent. The transmission hesitates during gear shifts, especially when merging or climbing hills, leading to a frustrating lag that makes the SUV feel heavier than it should. Some trims also continue to suffer from Nissan's long-standing transmission reliability concerns, which have haunted the Pathfinder's reputation for years. Inside, the cabin looks decent, with 3-row seating and plenty of tech features, but the quality control tells another story. Panel gaps, rattles, and occasional touchscreen glitches reveal cost-cutting beneath the surface. While Nissan has improved the infotainment interface, the system can still be slow to respond, and smartphone integration isn't as seamless as in competitors like the Honda Pilot or Hyundai Palisade. Fuel efficiency is another letdown. Despite newer engine calibrations, real-world mileage often disappoints, especially for city drivers. When you factor in its high curb weight and sluggish handling, the Pathfinder feels more like an old-school SUV in a market where refinement and balance are key. To make matters worse, long-term ownership data still raises red flags. Transmission failures, premature wear, and expensive repairs remain common complaints among previous model owners, issues that could carry into 2026. The Pathfinder's name might sound adventurous, but in today's SUV landscape, it's more of a warning sign than a recommendation. Number 7. 2026 GMC Acadia. The 2026 GMC Acadia returns with a complete redesign, but that doesn't automatically make it a winner. While it might look sharper and more compact than before, the new Acadia suffers from questionable value, underwhelming performance, and a lack of true innovation. It's one of those SUVs that feels fine on the surface, but starts to show its flaws once you spend a little time behind the wheel. The new Acadia's smaller footprint means less third-row space and limited cargo capacity, which defeats the purpose of buying a mid-size SUV in the first place. Families looking for comfort and roominess will quickly find it cramped, especially in the back rows. The powertrain, a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, delivers adequate power but doesn't stand out, especially when you compare it to smoother, more efficient rivals like the Toyota Grand Highlander or the Kia Telluride. Ride quality is another weak spot. Despite GMC's attempt to tune the suspension for comfort, the Acadia still feels stiff over uneven roads, and handling remains average at best. The steering lacks feedback, and the overall drive feels detached, more like a heavy crossover than a refined SUV. Inside, the Acadia's new design includes a larger infotainment screen and more technology, but not all of it works as advertised. Glitches in the digital cluster, laggy touch response, and occasional software resets have already been noted in early reviews. Combine that with a mix of cheap plastics and mid-grade trim materials, and the cabin doesn't feel nearly as premium as its price suggests. Reliability has also been a consistent concern for GMC's SUV lineup, and the 2026 Acadia doesn't seem poised to break that trend. For a vehicle that's supposed to offer refinement and practicality, it delivers neither, making it one of the more disappointing midsize SUVs of 2026. Number 6. 2026 Ford Edge. The 2026 Ford Edge continues to hang on, but barely. It's one of those SUVs that feels like it's running on borrowed time, and Ford knows it. With its discontinuation already confirmed for upcoming years, the 2026 Edge feels more like an afterthought than a serious contender in today's competitive SUV market. Despite minor tweaks and updates, this aging platform can't hide its flaws anymore. The Edge's powertrain options, including the familiar 2.0-liter EcoBoost and the more powerful ST trim, offer decent performance, but they come at a cost. Fuel economy is unimpressive, and the drive quality feels rougher than rivals. The transmission can hesitate when shifting gears, and the steering feels disconnected. What used to be a fun-to-drive midsize SUV now feels heavy and outdated, especially compared to modern hybrids that deliver both punch and efficiency. Inside, Ford has tried to keep the Edge relevant with large screens and software updates, but it's not enough. The Sync 4A infotainment system looks futuristic, yet it suffers from lag and random freezes. Build quality is hit or miss, with hard plastics in areas where competitors offer soft touch materials. The cabin insulation also falls short, letting in noticeable road and wind noise. The biggest red flag, however, is long-term ownership. Since Ford's focus has shifted to newer models like the electric Mach-E and the upcoming Edge replacement, the 2026 Edge feels left behind. Spare parts, future updates, and resale value are all concerning. Many dealerships are already offering discounts just to clear inventory, which tells you everything about where the Edge stands today. If you're considering the 2026 Ford Edge, think twice. It's a vehicle at the end of its life cycle, with little reason to buy it new when better, more future-proof options exist. Number 5. 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander. The 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander wants to look like a premium, tech-loaded SUV, but once you drive it, the illusion fades quickly. It's an SUV with flashy styling and clever marketing, yet underneath, it struggles with the same problems that have haunted Mitsubishi for years: poor refinement, confusing engineering choices, and lackluster performance. The base 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine feels underpowered, especially for an SUV of this size. Acceleration is sluggish, and overtaking requires effort. Even the plug-in hybrid, PHEV version, while efficient on paper, feels jerky in transitions between gas and electric power. The CVT transmission doesn't help either. It drones under acceleration and robs the driving experience of any real engagement. For something marketed as a family SUV, the Outlander often feels more like a chore to drive than a companion. Ride comfort is another major issue. The suspension is tuned too stiffly, resulting in a harsh, bumpy ride on rough roads. Combine that with average noise insulation, and long drives quickly become tiring. While Mitsubishi tried to add a sense of luxury inside with modern tech and quilted seats, the cabin still feels inconsistent. Some materials look upscale, while others feel straight out of a budget compact car. The third-row seats are practically unusable for adults, offering minimal legroom and comfort. Cargo space also suffers, and when all seats are up, it's one of the smallest in its class. Infotainment features, though improved, still lag behind rivals in responsiveness and clarity. Then comes reliability, Mitsubishi's long-standing weak spot in recent years. Owners of previous models have reported issues with electronics, hybrid battery systems, and interior wear far sooner than expected. Despite its bold looks, the 2026 Outlander remains a case of style over substance. A reminder that not every SUV with a high-tech badge deserves your trust. Number 4. 2026 Chevrolet Blazer. The 2026 Chevrolet Blazer continues to chase style over substance, and that's exactly where it fails. Chevrolet designed it to look like a sporty crossover, with Camaro-inspired lines, but beneath the sharp body lies an SUV that's overpriced, uncomfortable, and unreliable for the long haul. It's the kind of vehicle that turns heads in the showroom but disappoints once you live with it day to day. The Blazer offers a 2.5-liter base engine and a more powerful 3.6-liter V6, but neither option delivers a refined or efficient drive. The V6 sounds strong but lacks smoothness, and both powertrains suffer from transmission hesitation. Steering feedback is vague, and the suspension feels tuned for sportiness rather than comfort, which means a harsh, jarring ride on regular roads. For an SUV in this price range, you expect a balance of performance and comfort, but the Blazer delivers neither. Inside, the cabin design looks attractive at first glance, but the illusion fades fast. Hard plastics dominate, especially in the lower panels, and the interior feels less premium than many competitors in its class. The rear seat space is tight, and the sloping roofline sacrifices cargo room for the sake of aesthetics. The infotainment system, while large, often lags or glitches, something that's become frustratingly common across GM's newer vehicles. What's worse, reliability and resale value remain weak spots for the Blazer. Many owners of recent models have reported electrical failures, air conditioning malfunctions, and rattling panels within the first year of ownership. Add in the high maintenance costs and rapidly falling resale value, and the Blazer becomes a tough sell for anyone who wants a dependable daily driver. In short, the 2026 Chevrolet Blazer may look bold and modern, but it's a perfect example of how design alone can't hide mechanical mediocrity. Number 3. 2026 Land Rover Discovery Sport. The 2026 Land Rover Discovery Sport still carries that undeniable badge appeal, the promise of luxury, capability, and British sophistication. But once again, Land Rover proves that prestige doesn't always equal reliability. The Discovery Sport looks stunning and offers a plush interior, yet it continues to suffer from the same Achilles heel that has plagued the brand for years: mechanical and electrical issues that turn ownership into an expensive gamble. Under the hood, the Discovery Sport uses a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that delivers decent performance on paper. But on the road, the story changes. Throttle response feels inconsistent, and the gearbox occasionally hesitates under pressure. Off-road ability is solid, as expected from a Land Rover, but most buyers will never use it to its full potential. For city and highway driving, the Discovery Sport simply doesn't feel as smooth or refined as its competitors. Inside, the SUV looks premium, with leather upholstery, a digital instrument cluster, and Land Rover's latest Pivi Pro infotainment system. Unfortunately, that system has been notorious for lag, software crashes, and random reboots. The climate controls and touchscreen layout also demand too much attention while driving, making the experience more frustrating than convenient. But the biggest issue, as always with Land Rover, is reliability. Owners report frequent trips to the service center for electrical faults, sensor malfunctions, and suspension issues. Repair costs are steep, and warranties don't always cover the full extent of the problems. Combine that with heavy depreciation, and you're left with one of the least value-for-money SUVs in its class. In essence, the 2026 Land Rover Discovery Sport continues to embody the same contradiction the brand has struggled with for years. It looks like luxury and drives like trouble. If you want true reliability with refinement, there are far better options out there. Number 2. 2026 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. The 2026 Alfa Romeo Stelvio is one of the most beautiful SUVs on the market. Sleek lines, an aggressive stance, and the kind of Italian flair that turns heads wherever it goes. But beauty can be deceiving, and the Stelvio is the perfect example of why looks aren't everything. Beneath that stylish exterior lies one of the least reliable SUVs of 2026, plagued by quality control issues, expensive repairs, and inconsistent performance. Under the hood, Alfa continues to offer a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that delivers thrilling acceleration and sharp handling when it works properly. The steering is precise, and the chassis feels sporty, which should make the Stelvio a driver's delight. But then come the headaches: unpredictable electrical gremlins, infotainment system failures, and even powertrain warning lights that appear out of nowhere. For an SUV positioned in the premium segment, this kind of unreliability is simply unacceptable. Inside, the cabin design reflects Italian craftsmanship, with elegant curves and premium materials. But closer inspection reveals uneven panel fitment, cheap switchgear in some areas, and a layout that favors form over function. The infotainment system, though improved slightly from past versions, still suffers from slow response and occasional freezing. Frustrating in an SUV that costs this much. What truly ruins the Stelvio's ownership experience is Alfa Romeo's spotty service network and costly maintenance. Replacement parts can take weeks to arrive, and repairs don't come cheap. Add in a steep depreciation curve and a brand reputation that still struggles to shake off reliability concerns, and you have a vehicle that's gorgeous to look at, but nerve-wracking to own. The 2026 Alfa Romeo Stelvio is like that charming friend who's fun at first, but impossible to rely on. It's emotional, exciting, and stylish. But if you value peace of mind, this is one SUV you should steer clear of. Number 1. 2026 Tesla Model Y. It's the best-selling electric SUV in the world, yet somehow, it's also one of the most complained-about vehicles on the road. The 2026 Tesla Model Y might dominate sales charts, but popularity doesn't equal perfection. In fact, this SUV perfectly demonstrates how hype and innovation can mask a long list of frustrating problems. From build quality nightmares to software glitches that make daily driving unpredictable. The Model Y's performance numbers are undeniably impressive. Instant torque, fast acceleration, and that signature EV smoothness make it fun to drive. But once the novelty fades, the issues begin to show. Owners continue to report panel gaps, misaligned trims, paint imperfections, and water leaks. Things no $50,000 plus SUV should have. Tesla has made small improvements each year, yet the lack of consistent quality control remains one of its biggest weaknesses. Inside, the cabin looks futuristic with its minimalist design and massive touchscreen. But that same touchscreen controls almost everything, from mirrors to windshield wipers, and that's where usability becomes frustrating. Simple adjustments require menu digging, and software updates often change the layout overnight, leaving drivers confused. Even the voice commands, meant to simplify things, can misinterpret basic requests. Then come the reliability concerns. Frequent reports of malfunctioning sensors, phantom braking, and frozen screens are still common, especially after over-the-air updates. Add to that Tesla's inconsistent customer service and long repair wait times, and ownership becomes a gamble. While the Model Y continues to lead the EV market in range and speed, it trails behind in long-term dependability and refinement. The 2026 Tesla Model Y is a technological marvel, no doubt. But it's also a reminder that innovation without consistency can be a nightmare. If you want peace of mind and build quality that lasts, there are better, more dependable SUVs waiting for you. At the end of the day, not every shiny new SUV deserves your trust or your money. The 2026 lineup proves that bold designs and advanced tech don't always mean better quality. Many of these models look great in commercials, but fall apart in real-world reliability, comfort, or long-term value. So before you buy your next SUV, do the research, look beyond the badge, and think about what truly matters: dependability. If you found this list helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out our next video. The best SUVs of 2026 you should actually buy.